Welcome to the GarageGrit podcast. I'm your host, Brad Herlock of AA Shop Marketing. Our hope is to unite shop owners to tackle common stress points and challenges that they're experiencing within the auto repair shop space. Our mission is to guide you towards the best solutions for your shop. So tune in, join the conversation, and let's move your business forward. Welcome to the GarageGrit podcast. I'm your host, Brad Herlock from AA Shop Marketing. And here on this podcast, we dive into conversations with shop owners and shop managers about different aspects of running the shop. Those often overlooked details are common stress points. And our goal is to give you, the listener, some valuable insights to help you assess where your shop stands on each topic and maybe what's next. How do you fine tune the process? But before we dive in, I want to remind you about this growing Facebook group that we're creating called the GarageGrit Facebook group. And it's a space for listeners like you, as well as the panelists, to share additional thoughts and questions and experiences about today's topic. You can keep that conversation going there for the next couple of weeks. We'd love to hear about how you're connecting with your community. And yes, there is the preview or the snippet, because today we are talking about community connections, why they matter for your shop, how people are doing those connections, how they're actually trying to connect with the individuals out there. And it's really interesting to find panelists. I often end up making some phone calls to see who's interested in joining us. And I found that I had to make more phone calls for this particular topic than others. And when I went out to their Facebook pages and their websites, I began to realize why a lot of people were not as excited to talk about this topic as other topics. And it seemed to be because they're missing the boat. And so if you're not doing enough to connect with the community, you are, potentially at risk in a bad economy. Because in a bad economy, if you've already made those community connections, if you've already made those binding ties with the individuals out there, they're going to be less likely to shop you when the money's tight because they have a relationship with you. You've built that trust. And so I'm excited about this topic because I do think it's important, not just from a marketing perspective, but from a relationship perspective. I read, I don't even remember what book I read that it specifically referenced, but so this is not my idea, but it's one that I've read from probably multiple books. We're not in the business that we're in. We're in a relationship business, and the fixing the cars is just our excuse to connect with the customers. And so let's dive right into this topic. Let's go through and introduce each of the guests. Joining us today, we've got, and we'll do a round robin here. We've got Paul. Paul, why don't you jump in and just share with us about who you are, what your role is, the size of your shop, and tell us a little bit about your community as far as the size and makeup of that community. Go ahead, Paul.
My name's Paul Hearst. I'm the service manager here at Community Car Care in Alexandria, Kentucky. A small area with about 11,000 people that live here. The city welcome sign says it all. Their slogan is where the city meets the country. And then that explains one end of the town to the other.
Okay.
In our shop, we've got 8 technicians, 9 bays, 2 advisors. We've been in business since 1988, and our motto is making a better place one car at a time.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Sarah, how about if you take a turn?
My name is Sarah Warfield, and the general manager of New Bowers Auto Repair here in Howard County, Maryland. I don't really know the demographics of how many people are around us. I want to say the way that the area has been growing, hundreds of thousands. There's always new people calling and new customers coming in. So I know that new people are joining the numbers here. We are a family-owned business. We've been around since 1947. I have 6 technicians, 8 bays. And we are very family oriented to our customers. They trust us. We have built a lot of relationships with them throughout the years. And in time of need, we step up and help them as much as they help us.
Now, you mentioned the area is growing. I just did a quick Google search, 336,000 people in Howard County. How close are you to DC?
About 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
And so that population count, that doesn't include DC, obviously. That's outside of DC. And so, yeah, you've got, it probably does seem like it's constantly growing and constantly booming.
Oh, absolutely. This used to be all farmland out here. As a matter of fact, I was born here in Howard County. I can't live here. The prices are way out of my range. But this was all rich farmland. And now it has just, it almost makes me cry. You see all the houses that are developed back around here. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. I've said before that where I grew up, there was more corn and cow than there were people. And now that same area is more houses than corn. So it's significant. But
Yes.
all right, Jason, how about you?
Yeah, Jason Musser with Musser Automotive. I'm the owner. We've got 6 techs and 11 employees total. I've got a service manager, 1 service advisor. A population, I'm in Bowling Green. We service Bowling Green and the surrounding area. It's Bowling Green proper is about 60 or 70,000 people, but the surrounding area includes about 120,000, I think, some thereabouts. So, yeah.
Okay. And I'm not doing it on my shirt, but I'm doing it on the hat, but we're all supporting our brand with our apparel. Nice touch. And so compliments to everyone for doing that. That's key. I love it. All right. So the topic, as we said, is about community connections. And so that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Before I plant ideas in your head, how about if you just give me a quick list of a couple examples of community things that you're doing or have done. Let's start with just in the last year. All right, let's start there. So let's see here. Sarah, how about if you go first?
In the last year, we've done a lot. And this last year, we have done several food drives. We know that people out there, even though this is a, per se, rich area, but there's still people that need help. We have done 2 food drives, 2 trips of the resurrection. We always have a great response from that. Customers just come in with bags of food. It is very much appreciated. With that, we also do each year, getting back since the end of COVID, we also do a training class for women. I bring women in, they sign up. I have my technicians come in, go over maintenance, why it's important to your car, what is the meaning of it, why are we recommending it. We can play basics of how to check the tires, the fluids, and all of that. So I'm super excited about that. And what else? We just
now with that last one, real quick, I want to jump in. And guys, also, if you guys have any questions as we're talking, feel free to jump in, interrupt, and ask the questions. With that last program that you talked about, are you part of Ask Patty? Are you familiar with Ask Patty? Yes and yes.
And everybody has a frame about it in our lobby that says they went through the training.
Okay.
And know how to speak to women. My supervisor is a guy, Matt. So he, over the years, he's been here 15 years now. He has improved greatly when talking to the ladies. Instead of talking over their head, he's more precise.
Okay.
In their level. So yes, we are part of base Patty as well.
Nice.
I think that's huge in the front of your company, having someone that's able to talk to, especially women. There's a lot of times I'll ask my fiance a question or send her something and ask her, how do you take this if you weren't dating a mechanic? What would you think about this? And she gives me her opinion on it, and I'll make adjustments if I need to. Or I think it's great that you do that.
I think it's great to do that too, Paul, and try to get an idea, because I do have customers who they don't want to talk to me, even though I know they love me, but they don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to me. And we
with having women in.
And I all that don't want to talk to men, they want to talk to me.
Old men speak down. Old men and older women. Women are even more aggressive about it too. They'll be like, I don't want to talk to you. Where's an actual man who knows what he's talking about? They'll just outright say it. It was, it's a handful of times early last year that happened. It was rough.
That's really interesting.
I did, guys, they looked at us like, hold on, you're, you know anything, until we all start talking, and then it's like, oh, well.
So I wonder if, and Jason, you're no stranger to ChatGPT and other AI type programs.
I was going to suggest it. Yeah.
I wonder if you could type in, all right, so I'm about to relay this mechanical problem to somebody who is a female white collar professional in her young 30s with a family of 2. Go. And I wonder how well it would spit out some language that would actually resonate with them. That'd be an interesting test.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be awesome.
I know. Yeah, no, it would, and especially if you were fast at typing that in, so that you were prepared. You could then, I guess, if you were very prepared, you could copy and paste it into your CRM so that when they did come in, you could just load it up on the screen. But I wonder how well. All right, so who's going to do that test in the next week, and who's going to post about it on the GarageGrit Facebook page?
My service manager, who does often interact with customers, he might be reluctant to use ChatGPT.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I know of a starting company. I don't know how far along they are in the process, but their whole premise that the software that they're working on is supposed to plug into CRMs and add that AI piece specifically so that language is there for you so that it's more automatic.
I know Scout Genie is doing some stuff with that. You can have it like automatically respond to or draft up responses to customers and then check what you're sending and stuff like that. So
nice. But that's for like emails.
I don't know. I think that's weird.
it's weird, that's for sure.
Well, we started doing the text messages, people, and it comes down and says, "Hi, this is Sarah. I want to follow up with you if you're feud with us." And people were wondering whether or not it was real.
Yeah.
I got a message back from a guy, one of our customers, and he said, "Is this Sarah or are you a rip-off?" And I said, "Hey, let your wife know the flowers I have out front are made of Bella."
There you go.
And I got a message back from him that said it is you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that annoying Discover Card commercial where the less than intelligent customer is on the phone. How do I know that you're not a robot? And then the robot says, how do I know that? Or no, she asked, how do I know whether or not you're a robot or a human? And then the robot turned around and said, how do I know if you're a human? Prove to me that you're a human. And so she's like, hey, how do I do that? But the answer is actually saying something that is about them or about the community. And so that comes back to those community connections, trying to build that trust. And you like how I circle back to our topic at hand? So, Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've done in the last year when it comes to community connections?
Oh, man. Actually, early last year, I started a nonprofit to help people who were like destitute with automotive related stuff, because we don't really have something that's specific for that here in Bowling Green. So that's one thing. I definitely didn't start that with a marketing thing in mind at all. I'm not like trying to use that to promote the business. Just to be honest, it's not about that at all. Throughout the years, I've seen a lot of people that are either ignorant or just in a bad situation get taken advantage of from usually a lot of used car dealerships here in Bowling Green that have questionable ethics. Those guys and a couple of shops. We do have quite a good number of good shops in Bowling Green. I'm not gonna like shit on all of them, but do
you want to name the bad ones and the good ones, and I'll send them a link to.
Sure. I'll name them. All right. But yeah, but we have a strong number of good ones. It's like the few. It's like that poison in the well kind of thing. We got a few that just make us all look like questionable, and it's understandable. Of course, that's the job of the front staff to figure that out from there.
So that nonprofit is the primary objective to help underwrite the costs for somebody who is unemployed for the last 6 months. They worked for the federal government, but they just found out that if they don't report to DC, they got laid off. And so now they need to actually find another job. Until then, your nonprofit could potentially help out.
If they're in Bowling Green. So I'm focused on folks in Bowling Green, Warren County. That's I want to affect the people that I can reach out and touch, right?
Good. Back to that community piece.
Yeah. It's very small, I will say. It's not like some massive
build. That's the reality.
Yeah.
But that's the intent, right? Is to help underwrite the cost of somebody who's down on their luck or a single mother or something like that.
Or to make it to either highly subsidize what or repair or pay for it outright, essentially. Our goal would
How would they know? How would they know if I come into your shop? How would I know what options?
Right. So my initial goal was to connect with other nonprofits and have then vet people that were truly in need. Like, I don't want to go with people's bank statements and that kind of crap. That just sounds like, oh, you really need help? Let me see your bank statement. I don't want to do all that stuff.
I really am.
Listen, I don't think you need help. I'm going to refer you to Dave Ramsey. Come back in a month.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm going to help you.
Yeah. That's what I'd like to do is really build those relationships with like Salvation. We've got tons of nonprofits that help with food, housing, domestic abuse. It's all over the place.
And yet a can of tomato soup is what, $1? And yet at the same time, the cost of a new set of brakes is not $1 and help them where it hurts, right? So that's I think it's a great idea. I don't know.
We'll see how it goes. I went to a nonprofit summit hosted. I'm pretty active in the chamber. My situation is probably pretty unique. Like I can step away from the business and it runs itself essentially at this point. Of course, I'm actively, constantly doing stuff. I mentioned the building, and we purchased 4 buildings around us, and it's just a big mess going on. But anyways, my goal is to try and make better connections with other nonprofits. That way I'm not trying to be like, oh, do you really need help?
Right. So the concept of the nonprofit is that it's a referral basis, right? Somebody says this person needs help, and they are on the person who's doing the referring is on your short list of these people actually can refer. These are qualified referrers.
Yeah.
And so there you go. So you don't have to worry about that. So Sarah, that's the answer to your question. The goal is to have a list of qualified referrers, and they actually are the ones that are saying this person needs help.
But in addition to that,
I was to say, because we do get the women, men too, that cried at my counter.
Yeah.
And I'm a hugger. Someone's upset at my counter. I'm coming around the counter and I'm hungry.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Little thing in my window that says free hugs on it with a bear. And the owner of my boss is my girl like hugs customers. Did you know where
All right. So that's what we're doing for community connections, free hugs.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've seen customers like completely change after getting
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I can imagine. I'll go talk to my service manager about that and be like, hey, you need to hug more people.
Yeah, Dwayne will love that. Yeah.
Favor for your free hug.
You're making that. To me, that's more of a personal connection.
Yeah. We also still have to be careful with who.
They know that we're gonna do whatever we can.
Now,
whether, hey, let's break this down some. Many times, this is a priority. You don't need to do this yet. Do this, those type of things. And I think customers respond well.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say it's probably helps you being a woman.
Thank you for bringing that up because I didn't want to go there, but you're 100% correct.
Look at me.
No, if I was at that counter, I'd be having them sign a waiver first. I'm going to give you a hug.
I would see. Yeah. You seem like a sweet lady. That would help. But
I'm gonna try that next time I go to dinner. I'm gonna try when I get the bill and see if they give me a hug. And
there you go.
Yeah. Downtown, I worked. Everybody, they're all used to it now. Me being here 25.
Nice.
So it's something. Although when there's a whole room of customers that we have a really nice waiting area. Let's do that. And there's always conversation going on. Like if people are there, I go out and introduce, hey, Joe, this is Jerry Palmer. And then they start talking, or somebody else. And the thing I know, we got all these people in conversations in our waiting room and talking about family and personal stuff and other people and new customers. Like, oh my God, I thought to walk in and cheers.
And you know what? That plays awesomely into this conversation, right? Because you think of community connections, you think of basic sponsorships and those types of things, but you don't necessarily think of introducing your customers to other customers so that they can be people. Mm-hmm. And between social media and COVID, the population in general is starved for connections, actual people connections, right? And so that's great. I love that. That's one of the things that you're doing with community connections. And so that's perfect. Jason, was there anything else on your list that you're all?
Again, I can step away. I'm very active in the chamber. I go to all those, and none of them look like me. I tell you right now, you walk into the Chamber of Commerce, and it's like bankers and lawyers and all that.
We are all underdressed for that. That's right.
But I will say that I've met some really good folks in there that are like normal human beings, not like other people. So you can make really good connections there that like for instance, one of them that I met got me involved with Kiwanis. I joined Kiwanis early last year, so I can't remember exactly when. And I've been pretty active with that too. So
Okay.
but those are big things. We've done some giveaways through something with a radio. I can't remember the names, but there's 2 radio events where we like donated stuff. I don't think that worked very well, both from a like getting our name out, that's how they sold it. Hey, give this and help get your name out. I don't think that really did a lot. And it was for some good cause. I just can't remember. And there was 2 of them last year.
Well, I'll jump in. I'll say that one of the reasons it probably didn't do a lot is something like that is going to work better if you've been doing it for the last X number of years and you're regularly doing it. And then you become that guy with that particular giveaway gimmick. And But,
we did. There's an event with 8th graders called SCK Launch. It's hosted through the chamber, but it's like we went there. It's almost like a job fair. See what you want to do with your life for 8th graders, and we talked about cars and fixing cars and like with the different positions in a shop, like what it looks like to be up front versus turning wrenches all day and all the bullshit involved with both. And I think that turned out really well. We've got a university here. There's an event on campus during the summer that we went to. Just talked to our students.
It sounded an ideal. You guys all have bad winters as well as us. Yeah, sure. Snow. So one year we did a survival pack for the snow. So it had flashlights on it and the little triangle you put out and bottles of water and blankets and gloves and hand warmers. And the customers, if they came in, their name got put in a bubble. And then we would have people calling and ask if we were still doing this giveaway. And we were like, I wouldn't make it fun for a little change because they wanted to come in and get their name.
And we Facebook same way with giveaways. People that aren't even customers here, they comment on the Facebook link that's shared. They can win. We normally have really nice tumblers, stuff like that.
Nice.
Gift certificates for oil changes, apparel. But
customers love that.
Yeah, they do.
And Paul, do they become customers then too? The ones that are not customers that join in on those Facebook giveaways, do you see any conversion there?
Yeah, pretty high success rate there with that. So.
Nice. What else are you doing? What else is your shop doing in the community?
We do several different things. One of our biggest, the month of October, we have a little pink Volkswagen Beetle at the bottom of our driveway. Since we're not on the main road, so we can't have an advertising sign down there. So we painted a little Volkswagen Beetle pink.
Okay.
So the month of October, we do breast cancer awareness, free brake pads. Then we work with the Karen Wellington Foundation, us and several other shops. And we donate a percentage of every brake job to the Karen Wellington Foundation. So the ladies with breast cancer, they get to go on a trip or spa day, things like that.
Nice.
Another thing we do, obviously, we've got the parades and business showcases in town that we attend.
Attend or put a float in on the parades? Are you in the parade?
In the parade and the business showcase. They just started this last year. Everyone sets a tent up. One of our competitors was a couple tents down. They were giving out coolie cups too, so I took a handful of ours down and mixed in their coolie cups while they weren't looking. They ended up giving our coolie cups out to their company. The people walking by us, they got a kick out of it.
Okay, good. Good to have relationships with your competitors. That's good.
There's plenty of cars to work on around here.
That's right.
They have rivalries, but Chris, the shop owner, and myself, we're both on the committee at the local vocational school for auto tech.
Good.
So we go down and judge all their competitions, things like that. And a lot of customers that know us, but we don't realize their kids are in the auto tech program. We get to see them during these competitions. And potentially their kids get to co-op here once they're at co-op age.
Nice.
And if they want to stay, great.
Do you take them as an intern?
I'm sorry?
Do you take those individuals as an intern within the shop, like for a summer?
Yeah.
Because we're entering.
If it's the co-op program, they, instead of going reporting to the vocational school each day, they just come straight here. They're getting paid for it. And once school's over, they got the option for full-time employment. Or if they want to go to college, they go to college. So,
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. I do on the advisory board for the vocational school out here. There's not a lot of kids in this area that want to get into automotive, and I think that's something that every shop needs to get out and try to pull in, because the younger generation, they don't want to work like that. They don't want to work on cars and get their hands greasy, and they want to sit behind a desk and get.
I want to push back on that thought, Sarah, because I agree and disagree a little bit, because the numbers that I'm seeing and the noise that I'm hearing is indicating that the current new generation, the teenagers, right, the 18-year-olds, 18 to 20, they're starting to get more. There's fewer of the men in college in that age, or going to college in that age group, as well as there's more that are actually starting to do more trades. And so the pendulum is starting to swing. But if you're talking about, say, 26 to 30 to 40, oh my goodness, there's a dead zone there. So it's going to be really interesting in this industry as far as how that level A technician.
Yes, I hope it does change, because there's a lot of kids out there, I think, in junior high too, that don't realize that if they have good grades and stay at it, that they can have a good, successful job and a vocational type of job, whether it be HVAC, automotive, plumbing, electrical. But it has to be brought to their attention. They need to know that they can come from here and go to here, or just a little bit of hard work.
yeah, we've let customers' kids come in and job shadow for a day just to see if maybe this is something they'd be interested in.
What age group is that?
Me too.
What age group is that?
Typically 6.
And do you advertise that you do those types of things, or those are all word of mouth type, like it's kept within that
word
group?
of mouth if they're at the counter, and so was thinking he might want to work on cars, but he's not really sure. And it looks cool. He's happy every time he walks in here and we pick our car up. Then, hey, set him up for a day and he can shadow the guys in the shop. He can shadow what's going on here in the office, help him maybe make his mind up for which direction in life he wants to go.
Our schools are severely lacking here. They're well outfitted. They have all kinds of equipment, but we actually went to one of the, like last year, we went to one of the vocational schools, like open house is what it was. And man, I don't know, it was 2 guys out of 20 that were serious. And I don't think that they were really getting, I don't know, maybe like probably a co-op situation would help them a lot more than being in that classroom. I'm always concerned whenever something like in the trades where, besides electric, there's some stuff that with electrical that you might need to sit down at a desk for. But besides that, if you're not getting your hands dirty with it, I don't know how you could learn it.
Yeah.
Like how you going to learn write down in a book what it feels like to snap a seized bolt. You got to feel that, but you got to do it. You got to break the stuff so you can fix it. And I don't know. There is a shop component, but it's just, from what I saw, it's like they'll huddle around and one guy's doing all the work. I don't know what that's doing for these guys.
It's interesting. Have you considered being on an advisory board or being some sort of advisor to some of these VOTEC schools to see if you can steer them in a better direction?
As you can tell, I've got strong opinions. So
no one wants you.
Of course, no one gonna listen to me. I'm gonna go in and tell the truth. And they don't want to hear that.
With your new property acquisition.
What I've noticed in the school system, everybody wants to pat each other's back and congratulate one another instead of deal with the real problems in front of them. And that's across the board. That's vocational. That's across the board. I see it in my kids' school. I see it, and everyone wants to congratulate each other instead of doing what needs to be done. It's just, I would not be a good fit for that.
So you mentioned having some more space, some more property around your shop, more buildings that you just recently.
Yeah.
All right, so Sarah and Paul, what do you think? Is he going to start a school within the next 3 years?
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that. That is actually It's like there's so much going on here. I'm pulled really thin. But hopefully, in so many years, that is the plan. It's the building that we're in is going to be a parts store until we have one that's leased. That's about 7,000 square feet. We'll transition the parts store into that building once that lease is up, and hopefully set up a technical school, like unaccredited. But hell, it don't matter. I could teach you. If I had a guy in here for 6 months solid, fixing stuff, shit, we could probably make it so it's free, if they're helping do whatever, and get them ramped up in 6 months where they're more useful than a tech, lube tech, I think that'd be a lot more valuable than these multi-year programs where they're sitting at a damn desk.
That's funny you mentioned that. One of our co-op students now, out of our 8 technicians, only 2 of them are over 40. One of our co-op students now, he was actually wanting to go to heavy diesels school and decided against that because he was learning at a rate by working here hands-on that he didn't feel it was worth, and he's decided that he's going to stay here full-time once he graduates.
Good.
We offered schooling for him. We're going to help him stay on track with continue to grow.
Hey, let me cut in real quick. Are you wondering what your next marketing step is? Well, you don't have to figure it out on your own. The entire premise of this show is that we're trying to help repair shop owners. And in that same spirit of helping first, I will give you your next actionable step that's going to boost sales and boost that car count in your shop. To find out more, go to aashopmarketing.com/help or click in the link in the show notes below. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah, it's really cool. Used to, we had a bunch of old timers that have been here 25 plus years and they went away, and now it's Hip Hop Fridays on the radio, and it's just a very great group of people, young, and they all get along and just get their work done.
I'm sorry, Hip Hop Fridays?
Yeah. The old guys never listened to anything like Tupac or
Divorced Dad Rock is what it's called.
Whatever it's called.
That all day, I'm sure.
They play it on Fridays because we typically don't have a lot of traffic in the office, because we're just knocking out work, cleaning up what's left over from the week.
Okay.
So yeah, they tend to pick that for Friday. The rest of the weeks, whatever.
Here, I thought what you were doing was you were clearing out one bay and then inviting the community to come in and dance with your staff on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
so that's not on the list of community connections. All right, got it.
Yeah, we got a pretty big dance floor out there. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice. I'm interested that I haven't heard anyone talk about Little League sponsorships.
We
do. We sponsor the youth baseball team out here.
Yeah.
For how long?
Got banners and most of the fields and gymnasiums here.
Okay.
So we do a
the
lot
name
of
is littered everywhere through Young Athletics. Sarah, is that what you were saying as well?
Yes. And I would say I know that I have plaques up all the way down one wall, across another wall. We're coming back up the other wall.
Okay.
So yeah,
okay.
A lot. They're all
right.
across.
And is there, what's the response why did you do that? Did some of the shop owners have children in those programs? How many years of you doing it before it felt like it was not just giving back, but it was also giving back to you?
It's okay. So I've been at 25 years. So we've been doing it pretty much over 25 years. I had to go off how long I've been here. And with Jimmy did it because the kids, baseball, he liked baseball. I was playing still on a women's softball league at the time in Howard County as well. And I was out there with a lot of the parents, and it was like, oh my God, you're Neubauer. And you guys sponsor my son's baseball team.
Okay.
And there was a sign out in the field.
Okay.
And so forth. So we just have always just stayed with just sponsoring.
But back to the comment on the radio ad with Jason, I imagine it took multiple years before that actually started to become, noticeable. Before the community started to notice that you were doing it, you were repeating it. You had done it for multiple years, multiple teams potentially. Paul, you're nodding your head slowly. Is that the same experience with you?
Yeah, same. And I don't know if you've ever been to a kindergarten or basketball game, but really not much to watch there, so people tend to look up and stare at the walls, and they're going to read every banner that's up there probably 30 times before this game.
So that's your cue, is to sponsor the youngest of the youngest, because it's difficult to watch the actual event. This gives them something to read. So make it, all right, got it. So don't just put a logo up there, talk about in detail.
I went to my stuff friend's
That's great.
wrestling tournament, and I'm looking around the gym. I'm like, why do I not see community car care up here? And I'm texting my boss about that time it comes by on their digital screen. I was like, it start deleting my text. Like, we better be out here.
Okay. But it's,
Yeah, I think, and you said that. What I see a picture behind you, but in your waiting areas, do you have pictures out there of you and your families,
Yeah, so
your employees
we
as well, or the baseball team, or
we do a company picnic every year at the owner's house. The guys that have quads, 4-wheel drives, they go 4-wheeling on 20 acres, and his wife always sets up a photo booth. So every year she puts those photos out in the waiting room. That way the customers not only see us on Facebook, they see the guys working on their cars on the wall. And we talk to the customers using the technicians' names. We don't say my technician, it's Caleb found it on your vehicle, or had your vehicle a couple of different places.
Yeah.
Steve finally diagnosed the problem for you.
oh, that's interesting.
It's
Yeah,
a
no,
very
that's a
important
really
for
interesting
us.
tip. If you're trying to make that connection, then
Yeah,
you
they don't
just
want to
say my
talk to the
tech, you
people
say,
in the office. They want to talk to the person working on their car.
right.
So if they're connected, they feel connected with the technician, then it just puts them at ease. I think.
Nice.
it's important. It's important because I had to break my service advisor that he would always say, "Hey, I took your car out," or "I did this," or "I did this," and you didn't do it. Donnie did.
Mhm.
Right. And people that I know,
That didn't work on your car. That's my service advisor. He worked on your car. It's important that you do that, and kudos to you for that.
customers I know I can joke with, they're like, Paul, you gonna fix my car? And I have my hands out. These hands look like they're working on a car.
Nice. Nice. So what have you tried to do in the range of community connections that just blew up on you, that didn't work at all, that you abandoned, like you don't still have hope for it, you just stopped doing it because you tried it once or a couple times and you're like, this is awful. Jason, you mentioned a little bit with the radio show, and I said the only way you're going to get that is a long time. That's a long-term investment, and I don't even know what the dollars are, whether or not that makes sense, but like that would be the key. What else have we abandoned? What else did we try and said, no, not again?
I know that Sarah, I think you said that you did like a class or something like that for jail.
Yes.
So we tried to do that. I don't know, half a dozen times through one of it was like community action or something or another. And no, it just never happened. No one signed up, or there were so few signed up, they didn't. So it just like, it never took off. But we tried that. It's just, I don't know. No,
So Sarah, how do you do it? And let's
yeah.
go deep.
So I got so much feedback from women. Asked them when they would say, "I don't know how to put on my tires," and if the weather was really nice, I'd be like, "Here, let me do show you. I'll come show you." Or you can come out with me, and then he just began a conversation, and we just started asking our customers. I sent out a message to all the customers, asked if anyone was interested, and if you were, to let me know. And then I reached out to them. I even had some guys who asked if they could come. I thought they were coming to try to pick up women because it was just going to be women.
That idea.
And then we also had young drivers. We then also not women, but beginning drivers. Mom and dad would come out with the kid and tell them what to look for if they were in the car driving.
That's cool.
Kids want to hear from us, but it's a little bit better to hear it from like an auto shop. This light comes on, don't be alarmed. It's a tire pressure light or something like that to educate them. Yeah, and it just,
So what percentage?
sometimes we would have,
I want to jump in real quick, Sarah. What
Sometimes-
percentage of the attendees are existing customers versus new customers?
I would say probably 60% would be existing and maybe 40 would be.
And
new.
so, Jason, I don't know what the approach was, but were you trying to just put it out there in the community and see what happens? It sounds like the answer is ask every female customer that comes into the shop whether or not they would be interested in this if you held this class. And then you have that field in Shop Genie where you're actually marking, and then you're sending a blast to that particular group. at a later time.
And
And
then
then your
reach-
goal there, by the
well-
way, from there, from a marketing perspective, your goal specifically is to get them to share that on Facebook so that their friends
Oh, yeah,
also
yeah.
come. Like,
This is why I
like
don't do marketing. This is not my.
so,
Yeah,
but start with that
I didn't
customer
think
base.
Of, I didn't think of asking our customer base. I was really trying to. It was
Right.
more like, how can we do something good for the community? And I was like, oh, that they had this thing. But yeah, I guess that makes sense if we can reach folks that way.
And then if you can get them to refer them to or
Yeah.
bring their girlfriends, then now
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to get that 60-40 split. And you might not
Yeah.
get that on the first round. But now once you've actually done it a couple of times and you start growing the words out there, that's how you got that snowball started, right? That would be the way to do it. Then you're actually doing that community thing.
What are they wanting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it you look
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to learn how to change a tire, or I would like to know how to run my tire.
So not just,
Jumpstart
that's a
my
good
car.
point. Not just whether or not they'd be attending a class like that, but what would they like to learn? Would you attend
Yes.
and what would you like to learn in a class like that? Because then you're actually tying them a little bit closer to the potential idea of that class. That's good.
Because most decision makers are women. You hear it all the time. Husband, I got to talk to my wife. There's a lot of single women that are in the world now. A lot of single moms, single women, divorce. That husbands have died. We get a lot of that. Husbands passed away. My husband always brought his car to you, and now we're bringing my car to you because that's what my husband always did.
And we get around that
And they're
with the widow. The widow sold the car to someone, gave them all the service records. Now they're bringing that car to us because we've been servicing it since it was new. And we just got a new customer that way.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. So what kind of community classes can we offer to, and again, you start with your own customer base and you build it out from there, but what kind of community type classes can we offer? One of the things that always drives me, I just shake my head every time I see it on, say, Facebook, where somebody says, how are the roads out there today? My immediate thought is, if you're asking, thank you, Paul. Yes. If you're asking, please don't go. Please don't go out, because if you're confident and you know what you're doing, then you're not asking that question necessarily. You're going to get out there, you're going to see it's trouble, you're going to turn. What's that, Paul?
I said, just call us. We'll bring you your milk and eggs. Stay home.
There you go. There you go. So here, does anyone have an abandoned parking lot without a bunch of light posts that you could teach the people how to drive in the snow? There's my idea for a class.
That's not a bad idea. We're on.
I always tell customers, dude, you can't drive when it don't come out. I respect you.
Of course. My dad always told me, like, even when I was like 16, he's like, okay, here's an abandoned parking lot. Go do donuts or go take your car and push it into a spin and learn how to adjust.
You get that
And
fear
that gets you more confident,
That's
more
not-
comfortable. And that's why I said without the light posts every 25 feet, you need to have a little bit of a clear parking lot. Otherwise, it's trouble. But anyway, yeah, that'd be an interesting class, how to drive in the snow. All right. But what other classes potentially are out there that are there other classes that you guys have put on or community type training that you've done, or from Ask Patty to?
Yeah, pretty much that has really been that. I just got the building painted this year, so I had even mentioned to them, plus I think it's time to have a community celebration, customer appreciation day. We haven't had one in 25 years, and we're getting up here to almost 75 years, I think, of the business.
Okay.
And we are hidden, so we are not one that may drag. And Paul, we can't put signs out for breaks. If you don't know where we are, then you're not looking hard. Because all the time they're like, I didn't know you guys are up here.
Yeah, and the whole side of our building says community car care in big white letters all the way down the side of it. So you can see it from the main road, but we can't.
Yes, but
Yeah, so you can't see us from the main road. We are down the road, down the hill, at a dead end at the bottom. And
have you considered painting your roof?
yeah, but we did consider putting up like a bet symbol or something.
No, but I
Yeah,
mentioned
that was-
painting the roof because Google Maps, right? They're first looking at that aerial view and, oh, there it is. So I actually don't know whether that would pay off or not.
We moved our little pink Volkswagen.
You can't see the people parking lot.
Okay.
We are ways. So we do come up on ways that people are using the navigation system to try to find us. But the business originally started at a gas station up the road,
Okay.
like 5 miles up the road. Before they got rid of the gas station, we moved down here. And my biggest thing was always, we still have the same phone number. So why didn't you just call the phone? Why don't you just pick up the phone? Oh,
We moved our little pink Volkswagen at the bottom, and Facebook just went crazy. All the community pages want to know what happened to our little pink Volkswagen. And we brought it up. Each co-op student, that's their initiation. They got to hand paint this car pink, and we take it back down. But we kept it up a little longer, and actually, at our business showcase, we let people on Facebook select names that we should name this car. And showcase, we picked a name, and young man, I think he was probably 10 years old, picked the name Sally from Cars. And so she's got Sally stenciled on it now and eyelashes. And yeah, the entire community was just missing couldn't find us anymore because our pink Volkswagen wasn't out there. It was a landmark in the community.
Are you allowed to leave it there year round, or you're only allowed to put it out there for October?
Yeah, it started just for October, and then it got to, we had, a lady from Maysville, which was an hour away, just come up here because of the pink car. And she thought that, hey, I'm going to go there because of the pink car. They're going to be friendly to women. My own garage done ripped me off. Just little things like that people grab onto.
The Volkswagen is on the property, or it's on someone else's?
It's on the easement, the property getting
the easement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not on the highway. But
yeah. Interesting. I'm just thinking about how that would fly. There are certain municipalities that would not go for that.
Yeah. I know
that was what was spinning in your head, right, Jason? Was it?
Yeah, I was like, man, how could he needs to be able to put a sign out there?
Yeah, we hang a banner on it every now and then. Like for our October promotion, we'll hang a banner on the side of the car.
Yeah, I know this isn't a part of what we're talking about, but like some city ordinances allow for temporary signs, and those temporary signs can be some long-lasting pieces, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So you might look into that. I have done that in the past and address that specific kind of issue.
We service the mayor's vehicle here, so
okay. Maybe someone needs to have
a regular good on high school girl kind of thing.
Okay. All right. It sounds like you just need to have an abandoned vehicle that didn't quite get towed all the way to the shop. It just happens to have the shop name at the turning point off the road.
So, we had to. That's just crazy.
And yeah.
But
I just want a big spotlight just shoots up. We're here. Like a little arrow.
Back to your topic, Brad, we've really not had anything fail as far as reaching out to the community.
Wow. Fair enough. But it also sounds like you didn't dabble. I feel like sometimes the reason things don't work out with community connections, with these types of events or these types of word of mouth advertisements at youth programs, is that it's not everywhere for a while. I put a name on one youth baseball team, and that was 4 years ago, and I haven't gotten any customers from it still.
Yeah, we do it yearly.
You've got to canvas, right? You've got to cover for something like that to work. I think that's important. So I guess what I'm saying is, in time, it'll have more eyes. Don't worry. In time. So we'll get it out there. No, but okay. All right. With community connections, again, is there something that you've heard other people from either your coaching groups or other community conversations that you thought about, but you haven't tried, and it's out there in your mind, you're trying to piece it together? Is there anything like that that's bubbling?
We had a customer, he passed away not too long after this. He came in and he had just left the local DMV. And he said, you know what? They're out of those envelopes at the DMV. It'd be a great idea if you guys put your name on those and supplied the DMV with the envelopes that your paperwork go in. That goes right in your dash. We took him up on that, and I think had 10,000 of them made up and sent to the 2 DMVs in our county. So now we supplied, and we're in everybody's glove box.
Nice.
See, good idea.
That's clever.
It's a good idea.
I don't know if they've worked that here, but yeah, I like that.
It's at least worth a phone call to investigate.
Your breast cancer. I am maybe a breast cancer survivor. My entire journey, I took my customers with me through it all. we did little teachings that had our name and the breast teacher symbol on and our phone numbers. And it's so nice to see customers still come in that has that keychain on. Even though you bounce now been rubbed off, but they still got the keychain. And it's nice to see that, whether it be a male or a female. And I think really being honest with your customers about stuff, it makes you hear, and it makes them
People
hear.
want to deal with real people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I literally had met customers that would come in and tell me the story of their lives and their cancer journey for the moms. And have their spouse tell me that they'd never opened up to someone like that before. But it's just important that we make people feel human again, no matter what, to just stop and because you don't really know what kind of day they're having. You know, whether they need a smile, a hug, or get the hell out of my shop and you're fine.
You take their mind off of when they walk in your shop. Their main focus is my car's broke down and it's going to cost me a ton of money. And when you start talking to them and relating to them, it takes their mind off of that. So you have to break bad news to them. It's not as bad because they haven't been sitting there chewing on it for an hour. Or if it's a $3 hose clamp, you just save their day for $3 and they haven't been sitting there stressed about it.
Right. Exactly.
Have any of you collaborated with other businesses, other small independently owned businesses and other verticals? Pizza shops, donut shops, whatever. Have you guys ever tried to work together either online or offline in any kind of event, promotion?
We did a lot with what they call a town money saver, the little newspaper that you get that has all the coupons on it.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out really well.
Okay.
Pizza boxes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got put on pizza. You got your name put on pizza boxes?
Yeah, a printout, and they taped it on every pizza box that got delivered.
Okay. Any other collaborations with other? Because there are how many small business owners in your community who are also trying to figure out how to get their visibility up.
Yeah.
If you help them,
I don't know if you guys have heard of the BNI groups.
sure.
So
we're in one.
Are you? Okay. As far as collaboration, we have like multiple of them here. So I went to two of them actually. And it seems like they're all about helping one another out with that kind of thing. I mean, one thing it seems like they're lacking, at least the ones that I've went to, is doing things together. They meet tomorrow. I was thinking of going to one and kind of suggesting if they're all part of the chamber, for instance, they have all these after hour crap and lunch and breakfast and coffee, blah, blah, blah. That those would, like I said, I've made good connections at those events that would allow me to reach out to people. And I know I said we've got a lot going on. I just remembered one of our buildings, we have a nonprofit that is storing some stuff there. And I met her through, I think she originally presented at Kiwanis. I think those are the kind of things that you can do. I've got an empty building. You got to store something for a few weeks. Those kind of things. And you can only really have those opportunities if you're out there kind of meeting the people that are actively involved in all these different things. So,
and we do that with care missions.
Okay.
We do that with our care missions. We serve their truck. It's got service by community car carrier on the side of the truck.
Oh, cool.
So everywhere there you go, we go.
Nice. Now, do you ever have them come to your parking lot and actually be there for the day?
No, we don't really have a lot of extra room in our parking lot. We service 90 cars a week. It gets pretty hectic out there, especially summertime.
Sure.
We're parking in the grass. He just bought another building just so we could get the parking lot that came with it for more parking for community car care. Possibly we may expand up into that building too. But
first, what you do is you clean it out a little bit, then you have a killer community laser tag.
That'd be great for that because it's got the overhead balconies inside and stuff.
See?
I thought about paintball, but
okay. I think laser tag would be a little less cleanup. Yeah. All right. Interesting. So anything else as far as community collaboration, like other businesses, other small businesses, or that was it? That was just, Jason, I like the approach of it. It wasn't a marketing approach. You were just trying to help somebody that you met through Kiwanis. That was nice. I think that goes a long way, right? That word gets out.
Yeah.
Is there anything else with collab? And you also mentioned that you're thinking about BNI. Paul, you said you're actually in the BNI group. Are you the one that attends it?
No, Chris, the owner.
Okay. And how long has he been a part of BNI in that regard?
So he just bought the company. He's been an employee here for 30 years. He just bought the company off the founder, Scott, 2 years ago.
Okay.
So Scott was a member in BNI, and then Chris transitioned into his place there.
Got it. Yeah. And with the way BNI works is once you're a member at every meeting, you're expected, I don't know the exact details, but basically you're expected to be sharing leads for others as well. A guy that needs plumbing services, so you bring Harry's name and you give it to the plumber in the group.
It's just a business referral, pretty much.
That's right. That's right. And so you were saying about that versus the chamber event, Jason. And a lot of times people attend the chamber events just, they're thinking about marketing, but it's not as in your face as far as lead sharing. It's more social. With the BNI group, it's more of a regimented type. I'm going to give you leads of people who I know need stuff and vice versa.
Yeah, there's a specific objective of doing that, it seems.
Yeah. Right. They'll actually track how often you're doing that versus not doing that. And there's penalties and whatnot. But there's actually, BNI isn't the only player in town. There's a tip, and there's actually a lot of others that are modeling after that, but are startup groups throughout the country. Look out there and see if that's a fit for you as well. But okay. All right. What else? As far as community connections, as far as how we're touching and impacting the community, we talked about a lot of things so far. And I want to make sure that we're not missing something. I don't want to get off this episode and be like, oh, I should have mentioned this. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I was just saying, we also advertise on the local radio station out here, the Bay, 100.7 FM. They've been doing it for a couple of years there. And then I suggested to the boss that he should go on and help do the ads. That you should go on and be like, hey, I'm Jim Neubauer, blah, blah, blah. He was busy, he wasn't available. So now I do. So I go into the station every other month, and I cut radio ads with the DJs out there.
Interesting.
And it's funny, customers will, I have a deep voice, as you can tell, but I could be somewhere and talking to people there and be like, oh my God, are you staring at me?
Nice.
And people come in and then they hear me talk in person and it clicks. Right? So we know that it's getting heard. It's a local station. I attend a lot of their events that they have and bring my business cards and my sweatshirt so people know who I am and give out business cards.
Yeah.
I think I'm always a true believer every person we meet could be a possible contact. So it's always important to make a good impression with that contact because you never know when you might need them.
Yeah.
And I always have business cards on me.
Yep. Now, are you selling your Neubauer sweatshirts or are you giving them out? Or are you just wearing them yourself?
Yeah, they're just for the employees.
Okay. It's a specific club.
We advertise. Yes.
Okay.
So that
We
will
do sell
probably
ours.
Okay.
And the proceeds go to the nonprofit. So we've got all the crap like cups, mugs, shirts, hoodies, whatever.
And I think the difference there is it's not just and this is not a slight. I think the professional name is very appropriate for the employees only. And you're going to have the occasional customer after you've worn it long enough that will be like, hey, that looks like a good wear. Can I have it? But with Jason, what you can see visually, you've invested in the artwork to make it, to bring out that cool factor. And it's going to appeal to a particular group of people and so on. So if you're talking about sharing or even selling your gear, your getup, it's about making it useful and a little bit of cool factor attached to it.
Yeah, we just used our logo up for this winter. And he's got, I forget how many t-shirts made up to give away to the customers. As soon as we released our new logo, instantly getting text messages, everybody walking, where's my new shirt at?
Now, do you also have community card care on the back as well?
Yeah, this is actually our new logo.
Cool.
I mean, actually, you can see it.
Yeah, turn around. There you go.
All right.
Artwork. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a local customer draw it up for us, and it turned out really nice.
And you get people that see you could be standing in, let's say, the grocery line. Do you think Joe behind you want to tell you about his car
Oh,
problems?
yeah, it's everywhere you go. You don't ever
Is he
see me
rolling?
out without a community car care shirt on unless I'm going to a funeral or a wedding. Monday through Sunday, I've got a community car care t-shirt on or a hoodie on.
That's awesome.
Everywhere
That's
I
awesome.
go.
So I regularly, family, all of my uncles on my dad's side, actually on my mom's side as well, they all are all small business people. They all own their own small businesses. That's the world that I grew up in. My wife, she did not grow up in that kind of world. She did have an uncle who was a business owner, but for the most part, all of her extended family members worked for government or large corporations. And this is her handiwork, by the way, because this is one of the few shirts that I have that doesn't have our logo on it. Because much like you, Paul, like before, like she walked into my class, she's like, all of your shirts have the logo on it. Why would I have a shirt that doesn't have a logo on it? That's silly. Like, what would I be? Who cares about Nike? I care about this little thing that I've got going on. So that was an eye opener for her. So has your fiance pushed back at all at your wardrobe being community?
No, not really.
Okay.
And actually, yesterday we had a new customer walk in. A friend of mine owns a little bar diner in our little small town of Grand Slick, and we live right around the corner. So we're always down there goofing off or something. I always have a community shirt on, obviously. New customer walks in yesterday, so I live right down the road from Grand Slick Cafe, and I always see community car care shirts every time I go in.
Right.
And I click into the brain, he needed something. He came to community car care.
Right. Yeah, it benefits.
Isn't this thing goes, they have to hear our name, what's it, like 12 times or more before it really sticks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yet with social media and the growth of the ADHD issues, it might be more like 144.
Right.
So you got to keep it going. You just got to keep it going. All right, good. All right. So any final thoughts on community connections? Let's start to wrap up. Any final words? A shop is trying to figure out how to be a part of the community. What would you recommend? How would you recommend them starting out?
I'd start on social media, get out there, maybe do a Saturday where the community can come up and shake hands with all your employees, get to know everyone, see what you're about. Start off with some giveaways, some oil changes.
Good.
People having a reason to come in there to get this free oil change.
Good.
And you woo them with your service. And hopefully keep a customer for.
And with that, I would add that if you have 50 people following you on Facebook, then you first need to bolster that Facebook count, right?
You need to hand the
reason
Facebook
that works well
over
for
to
you
somebody else and let them be in charge of it.
Right, Paul, you've got 3,000 or 2,500 roughly of people following you on Facebook. So you've got a nice
community.
Base.
Is it mine or community?
That's the business.
Okay.
Yep. But you make a good point, is that if you can do that on the personal as well, that helps, right? You post it on the business, you reshare it on the personal, that pushes that out, right? So I think that's important. But you've got to have if you have, say, 400 people following you on Facebook and you advertise like that on Facebook, then depending on if you just started being active again on Facebook, no one's going to know.
Another big thing we do
You've got to build up that engagement count and that follower count first.
Our Google reviews are priority to us. I think we're 700 and something with a 4.9 star review. So
yeah,
a lot of people look for that. They don't want 5.0. They don't want to. 700 reviews at a five-star rating. Is that true?
That's correct. That's correct. Eventually it gets, yes. I actually I was a victim of an email campaign, and it was a contractor, and they had thousands of reviews at 5-star. And I'm just like, okay, I know that you're nice people, because actually I know of you. So I know that you're nice people. I've met you in person. I know that you're nice people, but now you're doing something to make sure that it stays at 5 stars as opposed to 4.9. If you've been in business long enough.
People need to read the negative along with the positive.
I like to read the negative. That's the first thing I look for when I'm looking at reviews. I look at the negative to see if it's BS or to see if it's valid or to see how the owner responded to it.
Right.
And because I'm aware that some people just like to complain. And so I'll see right through it. I'll be like, okay, that doesn't apply to me because not mean. So I don't have to worry about that particular issue, right? Or whatever the case might be. So that's where I start, is the bad reviews when I do that. So I actually, I agree. 4.9 is great. 5.0, if you have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, is suspicious. And you still want to keep it high. You still want to protect it as best you can. We actually had a show, our second episode of the GarageGrit podcast was about how to handle the bad reviews. And I've heard stories about a guy in New York who actually will yell at his customers and argue with his customers right there on Google. So I can't imagine that plays well in the community. But he actually the feedback that he gets is that he actually gets positive feedback from it, interestingly enough. And I have to write it off as that just sounds like people from New York, and it doesn't work anywhere else in the country. But I also was talking to somebody in Indiana, and they fight. They get a bad review. They fight to try to remedy it every single time they get that person gets a phone call, and then they ask them to change it if they can make it right.
And a lot of times people are misunderstanding mechanic terminology and what they're paying for. It's not clicking in their brain. And once you inform them, then they're like, oh, that's what this meant. And a lot of times it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Proper information goes a long way. Unfortunately, mechanics have that bad stigma about them. So we just got to try harder to educate our customers, and if they understand what they're needing, then they're happy about it.
And that plays with the community connections in that we're talking about actually being people. That's how we're connecting in the community, is we're being people first. We're hugging them. We're introducing them to each other in the waiting rooms. We're at the other places of business with our gear on and are being the person that they want to be around. If you're going to, I always wonder about the people who they're driving and they're cutting people off and they're giving each other the nonverbal communication out the window, and they have their business name on the truck. And I'm just like, that's a very interesting marketing strategy. I don't think that actually is connecting with the community at all. But if you're presenting yourself correctly, wear the gear, right? Be proud of it and support it. And then look for other ways to help each other, other businesses in the community and other people in the community, and that it be with those types of things. But I think we covered a lot of different things. For those who are listening or are going to be jumping on the Facebook group, GarageGrit Facebook group, if there's something that we didn't cover but that you've tried, we'd love to hear from you about that. If questions about what has been spoken about today, we'd love to hear from you on that. And by all means, guys, if tomorrow you're like, you know what, I should have asked Sarah this because I wonder how she's handling that class. What does she do with that particular class? Sarah, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share in front of the three of you, I'm going to share your email information with each other.
Yeah, sure.
So you guys can continue to collaborate on these types of things. If that's okay. Understood. And because that's what the podcast is supposed to be about too, is trying to help all the shop owners and shop managers out there. Okay, what do I do next and how do I do it? And so this is Community Connections. And I think we've done a good job kind of covering the topic with some fun. So thank you for that. And again, I'm going to re-mention the Facebook page one more time because I'm trying to get more people to be looking at that and engaging with that. And these things build over time. So again, thank you. I appreciate you coming. I guess that's a wrap. I'll see you online and I'll see you at the next podcast.